Hello. If you're one of the kiddos at the Methodist Church, this is Pastor Steve, and I'm going to read to you a book today called Ellison the Elephant. Miss Debbie and Miss Leslie have set up a program where staff and other friends of the church will be reading books throughout the time that we are asked to stay in our house in order to be safe. I'm wearing my safari hat this morning because Ellison the Elephant takes place where Elephant lives. That's out on the safari in a land far away. It's a great story, so I hope you'll enjoy it. Ask your friends to view it too. Here we go, Ellison the Elephant. Ellison was an elephant, a little elephant, and young. He was young and little, but not a baby. His friends and his sister Edna could all make their trumpet blast like other elephants, but not Ellison. He tried and he tried, but all he got was a little "Ooh." "See," cried Ellison, "I don't even sound like an elephant." "Ellison, I love your sound," his mother insisted. "It sounds just like you." "Well, I don't want to sound like me," Ellison answered. "I want to make a trumpet sound like everyone else." There he is talking with his mama. Ellison's mom got very close and touched him gently with the tip of her trunk. "Ellison, you're not an ordinary elephant. No, sir, you are extraordinary. Even your name is unusual. All the greatest elephants in history were unusual, and that's what made them great." "But they tease me, Mom." "Oh, now, Ellison, one day they will all want to be like you. In the meantime, you are an elephant. You need to have thick skin." And with this, she gave him a motherly squeeze. I bet you feel better if your mom gives you a motherly squeeze when you're sad, too. Together, they walked down to the watering hole, trunk in trunk, where all of the other elephants were having a bath. Ellison liked it when his mom washed his back, but when she sprayed under his chin, the ticklish Ellison giggled and squirmed. He watched as the others played their noisy games. They squealed and they blasted and they honked and they blared. Not wanting to be called Smellison or Tootie again, Ellison made his way up the bank behind a small clump of trees where he could be alone with his imagination. There he is, going up by the trees to be all by himself. There, he tried and tried to make that wonderful grand call that came so easily to everyone else. He filled his cheeks with breath, he threw his big ears forward, but all he got was a little Full of despair, Ellison stomped and stormed until he stumbled right over a bush, and that did it. He kicked that little bush, and he pulled it from the ground, and he shook it with his trunk. He's having a big old fit, isn't he? And that was when that bush yelled at Ellison. "Hey, what do you think you're doing? Leave me alone, you elephant." "This is unusual," thought Ellison. "I've been yelled at by all kinds of animals, but never by a bush." "I'm sorry, little bush," Ellison apologized. Are you okay?" And then out of this bush dropped the pesky weasel. "Don't let it happen again, Smellison," he yelled, and he waddled away. I've never really seen a weasel in real life, have you? Ellison followed him around the corner, over the hill, and into a valley, talking as he went. "Hey, wait up, Weasel. You can't talk to me like that. I'm bigger than you, and I apologized, and I didn't know that you were there in the first place, and you can't make me feel any worse anyway, because I can't even make a trumpet sound like an elephant. All I can make is a stupid little..." There they are. He started out pretty mad, but then he got sad when he thought about what was going on. Weasel stopped in his tracks and turned around to look up at Ellison. "Okay, do it." "Do what?" Ellison asked. "Your sound," Weasel answered. "Stop whining about it. Let's hear it." "Okay," Ellison agreed, and he blew a sad little sound. Weasel shook his head. Well, yeah, that's terrible. I'd be mad too. And then he disappeared into a hole in the ground. Ellison was not afraid of that little weasel, so he walked right up, stuck his trunk down the hole, and blew one very crisp, clear sound. And that sound echoed underground. What followed was a long silence during which Ellison was a little afraid. He wondered if he should have just let Weasel be this time. But then Weasel popped out of the hole with dirt on his fur and a smile all over his face. "Now that I like," he said, shaking the dirt off. "Do it again." "You're making fun of me," replied Ellison. "No, I'm not," Weasel insisted. "What else can you do?" "I don't know," admitted Ellison. "Can you hold it longer?" Ellison tried, and he could hold it longer. "And can you change the pitch?" And he did. "And can you make a lot of quick notes like yada-dat-dat-tat?" And he did. "Wow," yelped the weasel. "This is great." Okay, now close your eyes and look inside. And when you find your voice, just let it out. Ellison had no idea what a voice should look like. But he closed his eyes and he looked inside and he looked until he found it. It looked like nothing he'd seen before, but he knew it right away. He had found his very own voice. Ellison's legs felt stronger and his heart grew bigger. Look how happy he looks. I found my very own voice. He took in a deep breath and he started with a long note that went on and on and on until all of the ears on all of the elephants in the watering hole turned to listen. They set out at once in search of that most extraordinary sound. "That's right," Ellison hollered. "Don't stop. You've got it," said Weasel. And Ellison did not stop. He made every sound that came from inside, and it formed a tune, and that tune made him dance. And when the other elephants saw him from atop the hill, they saw and heard what they'd never seen or heard before. They stood and they watched with their mouths hanging open, and before they knew it, all of their trunks were swinging in time to the rhythm of Ellison's jazzy music. When he came to the end of his brand new tune, Ellison opened his eyes and saw and heard the whole herd of elephants. They rushed downhill to see the elephant who had invented music. And leading the pack was Ellison's mom, beaming from one big ear to the other. "How'd you do that, Ellison?" "I had help, Mom, from the weasel." "Weasel?" asked Mom. "Your imaginary friend?" "Yeah. He helped me find my voice, and it's really unusual." Edna, Eleanor, and Eli crowded in next to Ellison, begging, teach us, please." Everyone wanted to be as unusual as Ellison. All of the elephants and some of the other animals too danced and sang and kept rhythm while Ellison played his jazz trunk. When the sun went down, the lightning bugs lit up the darkness. All night long, animals came from everywhere to hear the unusual elephant with the extraordinary sound. That's the end. There's Ellison and his friend the weasel on his back. I hope you enjoyed the book. Tell your friends to take a look at it on the website. We love you and miss you and can't wait to be back together with you. Bye-bye.